Good morning, YouTube. It's Trader Rob. Today is Wednesday, April 1st. Hope everybody's having a great start to the month and a great morning here. All right, let's see if we can extract some profits here from the market. Let's kind of go over our morning, kind of what our morning here could look like. We obviously had a pretty nice move here on some news here this morning. We had some high-impact news. ADP employment change came in much better than expected. U.S. retail sales came in better than expected. And we do have some high-impact news coming out here at 8:45 with S&P PMI, 9 a.m. We've got ISM PMI. And I think the big kahuna is going to be the 9:30 oil inventory report. That should be pretty volatile. As far as some things that I'm looking for, obviously we've got a pretty large unbalanced seller area sitting here at between the 24,256 and the 288. I do believe that this wick right here is going to cause some liquidity here, so we could see a spike and then possibly a move to the downside. Off of that level. We also have another piece of unbalanced volume sitting at the 24,421 down to the 24,384. We do have a key level right here at the 24,373 and another key level right here at the 24,421. So those are going to be some areas of interest of mine here this morning. Below us, below price action, we've got a few key levels, one at the 975, one at the 905, and one at the 889. And then moving a little bit lower, we do have a pretty strong setup here on the NQ, sitting at the 23,975 with TP1 sitting at the 23,586 and TP2 at the 23,592 with a stop at the 23,563. So that's be a setup if we obviously if we can get down there. And then we got one more big piece of unbalanced volume sitting at the 23,197 down to the 23,158. Obviously price action is going to have to make a pretty drastic move to the downside here. As far as looking at the ES, where is the ES? I forgot what the hell happened to my band that was sitting here. I did have a band sitting right up here. I'll show you guys that there here in a second. Some areas to look for on the ES, a key area at the 6583. Another area at the 6567, another key area at the 6561. So we're going to want to see what type of reaction we might get at any of these key levels down below. We do have a very big piece of unbalanced volume sitting at the 6552 down to the 6528. And did have a band up here. Had a band that I gave posted on Discord here this morning. I'm not sure what the hell happened to it on my chart. I'm gonna have to redraw that one, but I'll pull that one up for you guys. Every morning I give all my key my scalping bands and my levels on Discord for both the ES and the NQ. If you take a look at the ES band that I gave with my level, we pretty much hit that level right smack to the tick, right at the 6643. So that was a nice one. And speaking of that, let's see if I can fix this band that I'm missing. Oh, I know what happened here. All right, now we are all set up. Let's go back to the NQ. Show you guys some setups in gold that I've already mapped out here this morning. We do have, like I mentioned, I think the big piece of news is going to be that oil inventory report at 9:30. We do have PMI at 8:45, at 9, and also at 9 a.m. So coming up here in about 15 minutes and then 30 minutes. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Did take a look at this entire move to the downside here, and really just couldn't really find anything super interesting here. Nothing, really no flips or anything here yet. Back on the NQ. Let's take a look at gold real quick. Got a few setups here in gold. I want to let you guys know. First entry is at the 4732.3. Targeting the 4735.6 with the stop at the 4728.2. I got another entry at the 4724.6. This would be your TP right here, this line at the 4728.2. Stop loss at the 4720.5. And two more setups, I believe. I'll just give you this guy right now. The 4632.5, targeting the 4637.2, with the stop at the 4628.5. Those are kind of your setups here in gold. Back to the NQ. Keyword today for 5% of my session profits is volume. Just type it in once into the chat. You don't need to duplicate your entry. My software will automatically remove duplicates. Did hit my $10,000 goal yesterday for March. So that was a nice win. Increased the goal here for April to 15,000. I was kind of debating if I should go to 15 or 12.5, but I said, you know what? I think now with my increased position size, I think 15K is going to be a good target to try to get. Let's see if we can get there with some disciplined and consistent trading. Crazy part was yesterday was my peak profit of the month. I think I was at about 11,600, maybe 11,700. Got in the negative pretty quick yesterday. Took 3 straight losses to bring my balance to about negative 3,400. Then we took a really nice initial balance trade to the short side for 30. I think it was 30 points. Bringing that loss down to about 1,400, which is less than half an hour. So like I mentioned earlier, there's probably going to be a pretty decent amount of liquidity sitting here at the 24,246. And there sure is. It's a natural stop loss area. So this is what I'm talking about right here. And if we take a look at, take a look at Bookmap here. You can see where those stops are resting right there, right around the 49s, 50s. Right smack right here. Anna, good morning. Grant, good morning. AP, good morning. J Loves, good morning. Oh, good to see that J Loves, you got that fixed there on Tritivate. J Honey, good morning. Had our monthly Q&A live meeting last night with my Signal members. Do that once a month. And we pretty much meet every single day, pre-session and post-session. But it's kind of a good opportunity to, you know, questions on the strategies, the setups. I was introducing to them some slightly variations of concepts on exactly how I trade here every single morning. But it was a nice, I had a nice time. Like usual. All right, let's see what, if anything, have they left interesting or not. So they do have a piece of liquidity here on the NQ that is a great area for them to tap in on a new spike. This could be a pretty classic setup here. So we already know that they've got a good amount of liquidity sitting up here at the 24-250s. This is their first unbalanced volume area for buyers. So this could be definitely a great area for them to tap into, or they could tap into this liquidity sitting right up here. We'll kind of see here how this news here plays out in the next couple minutes. And if you haven't, guys, appreciate liking the stream. So it looks like they might tap into this sooner than later. Thought this would have been a good target for them for about 3 minutes from now, but we'll see. Maybe they take this. They take this volume right here and displace it right where we were just talking about, right here. It's a possibility. See if we see a reaction here now. As far as a trade setup, I don't really put a lot of weight into this one just because this was the 830 move. But obviously a lot of liquidity sitting there, a lot of stops sitting right here. It's a good area for them to play in. Order book is extremely thin right now. You can see all of these, all of these areas are typically all shaded in red. and bumping out. You've got areas here where barely any, there's pretty much zero prints right now. So order book is extremely light, and when you see order book extremely light like that, it's typically when you start to see some pretty strong price action in one way or the other. Like I mentioned, I mean, they're tapping into liquidity right here, and they know that they have liquidity resting right up here that they can obviously auction off. Nate, good morning. Arshak, good morning. Nordic, good morning. All right, nothing too crazy on the 8:45 news. So kind of past that. That came in slightly under what was expected. Expecting 52.4, came in at 52.3, so we could pretty much just call that as expected. So now the next one is going to be ISM manufacturing PMI at 9 a.m. And again, the big one I think is going to be that 9:30 oil inventory report, which now has a much bigger impact on the S&P, just because obviously if oil continues on the roar to the upside, I mean, some people this morning on news were talking about $200 a barrel. You know, just the cost of transportation, the cost of shipping goods, which all fall into that S&P sector. Those all kind of get affected. So now more than ever, the oil inventory report will be pretty important in the equities markets. You know, I'm already telling clients that we're all kind of expecting some rate drops in their mortgage, that I would not be banking on that. We're either going to see no movement on rates, or we could very easily see another increase, especially if oil and gas and diesel continue to be at these higher prices. It's not going to help with inflation. So the job numbers don't help with inflation. I mean, it's kind of a bad recipe for rates. Morning, Tiger. Tiger, I'll respond to your email in a little bit. I've got that sorted out. Order book is still extremely thin on the NQ. Extremely thin. Let's get rid of this so I can... tap back into this unbalanced volume area for the ES, which has now been pretty balanced out with this big news spike. Did have a level here at the 66.43 that I gave everyone in my Discord this morning. That one hit right exactly to the that one hit right exactly to the tick here, at the 66.43. It's a level I gave early this morning. I mean, so even though we've got this band, which is I think maybe one of the reasons why I had it gone already for my chart, was that this band has already been balanced out on this big on that big spike here with the headline news here this morning. Now, obviously on the ES, we've got a level here at the 65.83. We got a level here at the 65.67 that's got obviously a big piece of volume attached to it. And then the next big piece comes in right here in this unbalanced volume area on the ES, which has also got a good amount of volume sitting right at it. So these are going to be some key areas for us to watch here today for sure. So about 9 minutes left for the next piece of news. You know, my thought process right now is the markets are kind of waiting here for this oil inventory report. It's typically something that we don't really talk about too much on the NQ and the ES. And mainly the ES is the one that I think gets affected the most, but the ES is obviously the giant in the room. So wherever the ES goes, the NQ follows. You know, unless some AI headlines comes out, you know, then the ES can get tugged along a little bit by the NQ, but primarily the ES is the definitely the big brother. So, and I think the oil inventory report is going to have a much bigger effect on the S&P. So that's going to be something to look out for. But yeah, volume is very thin right now. Apex is 90% off currently, so if you guys are looking to get some of the newer account types, I still haven't tried out any of the new account types. I am still trading all my legacy PA accounts, but if you're wanting to try some of their new options with their end of day trail, you can always use my code TraderRob for 90% off currently on Apex, and I appreciate the support. Thank you guys. You have some Fed speakers, obviously, currently talking. We're all talking about, obviously, inflation, how the Iran war could impact the inflation, how it's going to take it's going to take some time to bring back the damaged infrastructure back online. Looks like everybody's just waiting here. Everybody's just waiting right now. Yeah, we've got about 4 more minutes of news here. Good morning, Smooth Operator. Just kind of sitting here and waiting for something to pop here. Looks like all the algorithms have been turned off. Grant asks, what do you look for when you see a flip candle, Rob? Well, primarily what I'm looking for, my flips are in areas of key interests that I know have been left unbalanced. So when we had this strong move off of the open, this was just a natural area here for some unbalanced volume. And when I look at my candles, we did get a flip right here. So that's telling me, obviously, that sellers were coming in and trying to pull this market to the downside. They continue to try, as you can see on the delta of negative 145. But the market still, the buyers still were able to overtake this candle, push the market back up. We came right back down, dipped back into this unbalanced volume area, and as you can see, we got another flip here, negative 82 delta, green footprint candle, and then you got a pretty nice move to the upside there for probably about 35 to 40 points if I had to guess. Let's say 53 points. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the flips in areas of that are currently left unbalanced. And then I'm also looking for scenarios where if we get into a key level here and we get a footprint candle right here that closes red. I know this is yellow, but it closes red and it's got green delta, so positive delta. Then in scenarios like that, I will actually look for the continuation to the downside. So 9 a.m. news came out. Pretty much exactly like the 8:45 PMI, just one point below what they were expecting. So I truly believe here that the market is going to be waiting for that 9:30 oil inventory report. You know, if you guys remember my thesis from earlier, tapping into this unbalanced volume area, we already know that there's a lot of liquidity sitting here at the 500s, the 250s. So I said the natural move would have been something like this. It would be a great move for headline news, but it's obviously going a lot slower than gold's not doing much, ES not doing much. So we kind of sit and wait for a decent setup here to appear. We kind of nonchalantly just walked into some unbalanced volume here. You can just see the range is obviously pretty tight. I like to see a little bit more spacing in between our unbalanced volume area, but this is based on what price action is doing here. All right, some interesting liquidity just entered into the ES. As you can see, we've got 832 contracts now resting at the 66.22, which is exactly where our unbalanced volume band begins, the 66.22s. Again, this is where our unbalanced volume band begins, right here at the 66.22s. And that order now has been pulled, so that order's gone. Our next big piece of liquidity on the ES is sitting at the 6600s. Again, that's a pretty strong stop loss area, as you guys can see right here. That's right here at the 6600s. Got almost 200 contracts sitting right there right now. Tapping into some good liquidity right here. Market absorbing right here. So we got about 20 minutes here for oil inventory report and initial balance to be set. Just taking a look at gold. Gold's not doing much. It sure is. Amazon's cloud business in Bahrain damaged in Iran strike. Iran would welcome Russia as a mediator. Wouldn't that be something? Russia mediating for peace. Feds Bar speaks. Well, this price action really sucks here this morning. Guys, if you haven't, I appreciate a like on the stream. Drawing for today's session profits. Hopefully we can take a trade here this morning. Is at 10:45. I'll put up a timer here, and there'll be a 2-minute timer. Whoever is the winner has 2 minutes to type into the chat, thanks. If we don't get a response from the winner, if they're not here, if they're not present, then we'll repick a new name. I'd just be a little cautious here at this, right here at the 24 195s. Unless you're targeting that. I mean, there's nothing here really to do yet. I already know that the ES has got a great area for them to sweep some liquidity and close out an auction. So they could just do that right here. Or this could be the fuel. All right, 14 minutes for IB to be set and for oil inventory report. Yeah, your other target on the NQ after the 200s, which is I think your safest target here for a long. Your next, at least on level 2, is at the 500s here. It's a decent target. But this is your safest bet right here. I mean, fuck how we're moving. The 195s might be the initial balance for today. All right, 11 minutes for IB to be set. Fear and Greed Index just came out. Extreme fear. Typically a good time to buy, I guess. Fed needs to stay vigilant on supply shocks and inflation. This is the 4th supply shock in 5 years. All right, Grant, there is your target at the 200s. All right, 4 minutes here for initial balance and oil inventory report to come out. Let's see if we get any meaningful movement here. Two minutes here for IB to be set. Yeah, it's extremely light. Volume is extremely light. What just happened in my line? Not sure what just happened in my line. This line disappeared, did not. Okay. So now I get rid of this guy. You guys have the 60 range down here and the 30 range up here. There's the tap. Did not get a flip there. No flip yet. I'm kind of favoring the longs here right now. We'll see. I got nothing. Nothing on the 30. Nothing on the 60. And nothing on the 120. But my spidey senses are telling me that possibly the longs are more in play here. I see a lot of strength here. Let's see. Let's look at the big picture here real quick. Kind of hurt. Didn't really get any entry off of the IB. There was a continuation play right here, but just kind of felt like the buyers here were gonna probably step in, but they have not. Strange. So oil inventory report came in at almost 5.5 million barrels. They were forecasting only 2 million barrels. So their forecast was way under. Which means that there is a supply issue, but it could be just that they can't move the supply that they currently have. Oh, this is tricky. It's a tricky spot right here. Don't have really any unbalanced volume for me to say I could take a long from here. Just kind of waiting for a flip here, but I don't really know that's going to be the best setup yet. I do like the long here. It's a tricky spot. I got really nothing here, and I have really no other piece of confluence here to give me any good feeling that I could actually be flipping here to the upside, even though that's what my intuition has been telling me, even on this move to the downside here, is that we're probably going to revisit these 500s sitting right here. Oh, man. Well, that was right. Right to it. Right to it. It's a bit frustrating, but so on that move, they did leave this unbalanced right here. And that strong move to the upside. Well, my gut told me to take a long here on this flip right here, but my trading brain turned on and pretty much, well, you heard me. I just didn't really have anything here that was left unbalanced. I mean, they had just been ranging like here like crazy, so just couldn't find. Couldn't find anything. Could do like a long here. Do like a long here. Let's see if they give me any conviction here. Still like to target these 250s. As you guys can see, the 250s still has a really good piece of volume sitting right here. They could rebalance out. Don't want to get stuck in a trap here. Grant, I agree with you. I'm trying to find an area that I can take a long from. There's nothing. You know, your best spot is right here. It's down here. This is your best spot to take a long from right now, the 146 to 132. The only problem with this sucker is we've got this. We got this that they might want to spike, so I'm very leery on just taking a limit order here at the 24 146. Even though the 146 really doesn't, this 132... Yeah, it does have volume right here. This is a stop run area for them right here. Okay, so I'm going to change my thesis here a little bit. And what I'm going to be looking for right now is going to be a sweep of this liquidity right here and then a possible target back up into this area. Or even the IB. So we'll just stay patient here and see if we get the setup that we're looking for. I did tell myself that that's exactly what I was going to do today. So let's see if the market cooperates. Excuse me. Unless obviously we tap into there first. That's a good flip right here. Me. It's a good example of seeing direction, just not being able to get an execution. Well, they just nipped at the 250s here, so they nipped at about 20-30 contracts there. They still left this they still left that unbalanced. I personally don't like the scalp short here. I think we can dip into this higher unbalanced volume area quite easily, but we'll see. I still haven't tapped in yet, so don't get too excited here. We haven't made a dent into that liquidity there yet. Next big piece is at the 287s, which is pretty much sitting right at the top of this we did leave the 26s unbalanced right here, so that could be an easy target if you're going to scalp that to the short. Right there. So again, in a perfect world, what I'd like to see them do is just to sweep this liquidity, and then we can maybe look to see if we can capture a short from there, or see if there's going to be a possible continuation play to the upside. I don't know what's above us. We've got some liquidity up there still. This is what I was hoping we wouldn't get, is going to be a flip right at the beginning of this unbalance. I mean, it's a perfect flip, but again, I just have that worry right here of us tapping into this big piece of liquidity sitting here at the 87s. But the 226s down here is a very quick place for them to balance out, especially the swipe of liquidity right here at that was resting at the 50s. It's an easy place for them to take care of some of their auctions here. And granted, you're probably going to get your flip here on the 120. I think in any other moment, I'm hitting the short button here at the close of this footprint. I'm just not convinced here yet that the move to the downside is beginning yet. I think they may just balance out a few levels below us here. Let's just take a look really quick at the ES. Huh. It's a very interesting pattern here too. Alright, the NQ is on the move. Just want to show you guys something real quick here on the ES. ES has got the exact same exact same footprint as the NQ. Right at the top of their unbalanced volume bands. On the ES, we currently have a huge amount of contracts sitting there at the 394, which also is very similar to the NQ of the 172. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for here. And at this point, I don't really have a bias. I mean, I could, if I get a nice flip on the 120 or the 60, which I doubt, but I can take that for a short down to this unbalanced volume area that they left. Or if the footprint shows me that they want to continue with this move, we might be able to get a retracement like that. We've got some targets to the upside. Unless they go and balance this out first, which they could possibly do. Again, I don't know if you guys saw my drawing there, but I don't really have a bias yet here at this area. What I would think is a sweep, and then we can possibly target this area right here of unbalanced volume at the 226, unless they take this out first. The other option, in my opinion, could be a move like this, and then a continuation to the upside here. That could always be in the cards as well. I say always, but mainly today, based on where I'm seeing this volume on the ES and the NQ sitting at. And again, guys, you could always front run these areas of liquidity. It's just depending on how much heat and how much drawdown you really want to take in your account. So for those trading props or even cash, I mean, depending on your position size, it's kind of hard to front run a lot of these liquidity spots because they will manipulate the shit out of that. I really, really, really would like to take it from the 120, but I've got the 120 and I've got the 60. Both, I'm looking at both of them here to see what, if anything, we might get. So again, this is sitting right here at the top end of this band at the 187s. Let me just just make this a little bit cleaner for people to see so they know where. Right there. I feel like we're stalking the market here. This is one of those days that you hope patience pays off. This is kind of gearing up for... This is kind of gearing up, in my opinion, for continuation to the upside. At least that's what I see. But I don't want to carry a strong bias just yet. As you can see, they just balanced this out right here. They gotta come for these now. That was a perfect auction little play here. Remember I said I wasn't going to leave a resting limit order there? Well, that would have been the play. Man. All right, let's see what happens here. The 120 is showing a continuation push here to the upside. Let's see what we get. Definitely got to focus in on my buy sell button click, because again, I don't really have a huge bias here. I'm leaning more towards the longs here. All right, there's a big absorption. No flip there yet. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. They're coming after this right now. The 280, the 281s. I know that was a good flip here to the upside. I just got to be very cautious right here. Very cautious right here. All right, let's see them absorb. They should be absorbing right here. Let's see. Okay, they absorbed. No, actually not yet. Oh, I got this at the wrong spot. This is back here at the 287s. They already took that out. Oh, they didn't tap into it yet. Okay, that's... I was wondering. I'm like, that number just didn't really even change. So they did not absorb this 187 here yet. You got two flips here to the down, to the upside. Sellers are trying. I don't know. I feel like if they break through here, I think we've got a long setup in play. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to get into it. Even though the 120 is showing a really nice flip potential right here. I really feel the longs here are in play. Let's see what happens. I still haven't absorbed yet the 187s. This 120 candle right here is just prime for a flip here. The sellers are defending. They're definitely defending. See how it's difficult to front load an area of liquidity? They'll just keep playing with you and playing with you until you got no more capital left. Just targeting an area of liquidity. So, you know, not sweeping an area of liquidity and then trying to find your next one, but like knowing that the market needs to close out these 87s based on the amount of liquidity that's sitting there. So we just kind of taking a blind long entry to get to that area. That's called front running it. But again, it's a matter of how it gets there that usually destroys that that type of strategy. You know, how much drawdown are you willing to suffer through? Mm-hmm. I really feel like this 384 to 73s is the next move to the upside here. I just don't know if I get, depending on the footprint that I can go in on, I don't want to get trapped for the big move up, but just some of the risks that you have to kind of take. And I would like to stay, I mean, to be completely 100% honest, I'd like to stay neutral here on a possibility that this could be in play, even though disregard this 226, I gotta delete that. I just know that, okay, the 120 candle closed out, so that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. You know, to jump into the breakout it's a little bit tough unless you get a great continuation play. What I'd like to see is if them retest and then come and see if this area here still will provide us some support. So I'd like to stay neutral. I just don't necessarily know in the moment if I'm going to have enough time to because the style of trader I am is more reversal, and this is setting up to be a pretty strong reversal right now. I mean, you've got a lot of like liquidity sitting up here. It's right at the top of your unbalanced volume area. They could just sweep and then target the IB low even. I mean, it could be one of those days where they just target the 24 to 11. Speaking of that, let me just see if there is anything else open right now. This is a pretty easy target. I'll just keep that in mind. The 227s. I don't know if that's where I currently had, but that is unbalanced. We'll see. Well, Nordic, yeah, it's kind of my, you know, I know that they want to target this 87 area. There's big possibility of that. It's just they've tried tapping into that 5-6 times now. And I hate to say it, I don't really have a bias here on the long or the short here. I kind of am gonna have to react with what the footprint and the candles kind of tell me here. It's a classic reversal setup, but all right, let's see if they come in this time or not. So these are just all stops. Quick stop run. And I'd love to be able to catch the move on the 60 to cut some risk down, but the way that this morning's kind of shaping up, I think it might have to come on the 120. The 437s is your next area above it. It's got like juicy volume. So pretty much in this band up here, which is why I was kind of thinking if you get a continuation play here, that's, I know it looks like an unrealistic target, but it's probably what they come after. Okay. Haven't absorbed yet. They're still right there. I mean, order book's actually pretty light everywhere else. Like I'm saying, this could be a big move here. Morning, Todd. This looks almost exactly like the picture from last week. Might even have a screenshot of that. And we did get a huge dump to the downside. That's the one where I took about 75 points on that short. This is the exact same. It's the exact same pattern. But the final came with a sweep of the big liquidity almost right at this box, right at the top end of this unbalance, and then it was a big drop to the downside. Actually, it went all the way down to the IB low, I remember. I was too chicken to stay in for that long. About 170 point range. Okay. It's nasty. Nasty, nasty. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can all see exactly what they're doing here. I mean, it's pretty simple. Fucking destroy people. Does look like the NQ is going to tap into this big piece of liquidity before the ES does. They still haven't absorbed here yet. Okay, they just absorbed right there. The ES still hasn't gotten there yet, though. ES still has not tapped into its big piece of liquidity up there, so that's what I'm a little hesitant there. Let's see. Watching the 120 very carefully here. It's probably going to be what I'm going to have to get in on. It's just this ES up here is really bothering me that they have not tapped into their piece of the liquidity. But they did go through a shit ton of contracts right here, so let's see. See, the ES still hasn't tapped in here yet. Doesn't make much sense to jump on the NQ's train to the downside if the ES still has this big piece of the pie up here. The NQ is currently a fight. Very thin, top to bottom, very thin. This is what I'm waiting for right here, I guess, at this point. But granted, the 120 is going to probably show me a flip. And it's perfect setup to go short here, minusing out this ES. Just hoping it doesn't take the ES 30 minutes to get up here. Well, a few more things just popped up on the radar here. Let's take a look at this. This happened exactly on Monday, the 28th. So if you guys take a look at the ES here, 66.45, 400 contracts, 66.50, 325. What the NQ just went through, the ES went through at the 66.40s. To a lesser extent, it wasn't in the 400s. It was like more like 200 and something. But then look at this. Look at this piece of the pie that's sitting up here. 800, 823. So what they did on Monday on the ES, because I remember it, I mean, I drew it out on my journal. They did exactly like this. So exactly 5 points apart, spaced out. And then, so they were exactly 5 points spaced out. Then they would let price action take out these areas, and then as price started to come down, that big order that you see up there for the 800 contracts starts to float. And it starts to float price action as it comes. It did not tap into it until we got a pretty good move to the downside. And then this just keeps floating down with it. And then eventually it taps into it. And then you get even a stronger move to the downside. So that's just what I drew out on my journal on Monday. I said it was very unique setup that I had spotted in the market. And this is playing out eerily. Sorry, you guys didn't see my drawing there, but You guys got the picture. Looks eerily familiar here. And again, I think my my senses on the short there was very well played not to be patient there. So now we're getting pretty close to tapping in here on the ES. This looks like that. This is one of those scenarios where you're really looking at the NQ, I'm sorry, at the ES to give you some clues here for an NQ trade. You got it, Grant. I'll be right back, guys. Well, we're trying here, guys, but I'm just not seeing anything clear right now. So we'll go until we'll go here until we see something. Or until lunchtime hits. All right, let's see if they absorb these 6645s here. NQ's just stuck. I like to just see them eat through this and this. Just a big absorption, because at that point they got to show their hands at this juncture right here. All right, here we go. They're now absorbing here. I haven't made a dent into it yet. I still have not made a dent into it. And they're reloading. You can see every time it comes into it, taps in, the numbers just keep going right back to 460. That is a big position size. Just keep putting on their position. Then absolutely no, not a stop loss area. This is strictly position sizing here, position play. See how they keep reloading? They may need to manipulate before they can absorb everything here. It doesn't seem like there's even buyers stepping in to take this out. There's a chunk. There's another chunk. Another chunk. You can see how that 460 just keeps coming right back. They're just loading up on their positions there. Again, this is just giving me more indication that I think we've got a bigger move to the short here, but I gotta let them play out. Okay, they finally got through a good chunk. Good. Now let's see if they take out the 6650s. Okay, they're kind of doing what I'd hoped they would do. Now I don't want to see the 55s or the 60s come in. Come on. Eat through that. Sure is. They still got some more work to do here, though. And then after this batch that they go through at the 50s, if you don't see anything else come up, I want you to keep taking a look and see if you start getting that floating order that's going to follow price action to the downside. And you can make some scalps to the downside, but the true one is when they re-tap right into it, and then it just drops like a bomb. Nothing to do on the NQ here. I mean, the NQ is pushing upwards because the ES is coming into the, you know, pushing this up. Okay, big absorption here. Let's see if they can finally get through this. Come on. A little bit more. Break through there. I mean, you guys are witnessing the market in real time, exactly what the market does every single day. Come on. See how they're reloading? Bubble means market orders. These are aggressive aggressive buying and selling right now, demonstrated by the bubbles. The lines that you see here is just resting limits, resting orders. And as they tap in, you see the counter come down, and then the counter just resets, because that just means that they're unloading everything. Their position here is establishing a position here. Grant, I'd love to follow you on an NQ short here, because it does look somewhat decent, but I want to see how this plays out here. 'Cause I'll be honest with you, there could be a very strong possibility that this fucking rockets up here too. And they're still going at it. So they've exchanged here at least 300 contracts, and the number still stays pretty much the same. Now let's see if they absorb here or not. A good time for a put option here, all the way to IB low. Wow, they're unloading and reloading. As quickly as they can buy it, they're selling more. This almost looks like an unloading of a position to me now. I don't know. This could still be a big move to the upside here. Keep a close eye on that number. That 6650 number. It's the first time that I see it not drastically reloading. Let's see. Take it back there. They continue to keep reloading. And meanwhile, BNQ is just steadily moving up. You know, this candle's been about 20 minutes in the making. We're getting pretty close to my targets up there. All right, we could see a bounce here on the 6640s right here. We could see a bounce here and reattack that position again. This is the unbalanced volume that they currently have for the ES.
Don't close your eyes. Wait until the night is over. I'll show you paradise, but hang on just a little longer. I will be yours, you will be mine.
But they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of that spot. They keep coming right back to it. There's the NQ. These are two areas of unbalanced volume. Smooth operator, my session panel is at 0. I haven't taken a trade yet here today. Take a quick scalp here to the 305s. That was a little late there. Fuck me. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it for today. I see my impatience starting to kind of form, and I'm just getting those feelings of just jumping in a trade here to jump in a trade, and I don't like that feeling. So what I'll do is I'll rerun the cash profit for tomorrow, Thursday. So it'll be a continuation there. I'm not sure what else to say. I just didn't see not one clear setup, and the setups that I did see, and just again, they weren't from real areas of strong unbalanced volume. This was tough. It's a tough day. I think the biggest key for today is going to be this guy right here, the 6650. So depending if how much patience you have and if you've got the level 2 to look at, that might be your best trade decision here today. If not, maybe none. Maybe no decisions is a good day. Not the greatest way to not the greatest day to start April, but kind of feel my focus just leaning just a little bit, and don't really like that. So thanks for tuning in today. Again, I'll rerun the cash profit for tomorrow. Apex is 90% off. You want to use code TraderRob. Lucid's at 40%, and Tradeify is at 40% as well. I'll see you guys